Hey guys, poor ass guy, I just dyed my hair yesterday, so that's what's different. But, so today I want to address the comment I got on my last video is, do you value personal freedom at all? And I think that's a great way to segue into my views on, well, personal freedom and individualism or an individualistic society. So my view is that individualistic societies are, of course, the reason how capitalism can exist, because instead of putting others before yourself, you put yourself before others. And so to me, I'm more collectivistic, utilitarian type of person. So what utilitarianism is, it's the many over the few. So I bet you've heard this philosophical question before of, if you're going down the tracks and you see three people you're about to hit, or you could turn and just hit one person, people would say, oh, I'm going to hit one person. And that's utilitarian. Now, what most people, the next one is where most people get tricky by. Still you're going to hit three people, but this time you're not the one on the train, you're an observer. So you see the train's about to hit three people, and there's this fat guy in front of you on the bridge. If you push him over, he'll die, and you'll save the three people. Now, mostly people go, well, no, because that's wrong. But a utilitarian would go, well, you should do that. Now, of course, that would only be in utilitarian society. I would never do that, because that would be considered murder. And so what I just want to get on is that point of utilitarianism. So I, of course, have been in an individualistic society. I'm born and raised in Canada. So sometimes I also struggle with being a bit of a narcissist. And that's what individualistic society creates, is narcissists who would want to save their lives over others. And I also think something about utilitarianism is, I'm not a plain utilitarianist. I believe in equity utilitarianist. Like, let's say there's one person who's about to create a cancer-saving drug. But to do that, 1,000 people have to die. Like, you have a choice between saving this person and saving 1,000 people. My perspective is, you save that person, because the other people are just average people. But that person will go on to save more than 1,000 lives, or save millions of lives. I also think it's about equity as well. So I think, yes, I believe in equality, and I believe that life is, like, everyone deserves to live, and everyone deserves to be equal. But there is some things about equity that inspire me, like what I was saying before about the social credit system and creating that as a hierarchy in a sense, is that, like, of course, every person is valued, and every person, like, if we stopped getting people to do pavement, if we didn't have construction workers anymore, and no robots to replace them, then we need them to contribute to society. We need them to do those things, or else our society will collapse. But I believe of course, there's people who can replace them if anything happens. But there's some people who, like prodigies, people who are going to save cancer, people who are medically or politically inclined and are going to do a lot of change and a lot of good, and will save lives in a sense. Either they're actually saving lives, or indirectly, like through social activism, stuff like that. That those people are technically they shouldn't be treated more above, but they have more inclinity to having a higher value than others, so that they will, like, you save them over other people. And also the concept of, like, we need motivation to do things, like we all always want to move up. So in that case, instead of Like maybe you just get a little something extra, you get respect more, maybe you get better house, better furniture in that sense. And that's what I think is the whole purpose, is that you then are respect more, people know you more, you're seen as like an individual to aspire to. Like Winston Churchill, for example. Winston Churchill, like, mostly, if you don't know who Winston Churchill is, I don't know why you wouldn't. Like, he's famous in that sense. And so I think that's like one of those things. And so, again, like personal freedom also is, I believe, and of course people find it very upsetting when I say this, and it's controversial, but I believe there are two options: security or freedom. Because the United States is all about freedom. It's a perfect example. It's all about freedom, and people are poor, people are starving, people are homeless, people can't pay to get their medical care. It's a dog-eat-dog world. And so to me, personal, like, that's what you get with personal freedom. And I believe more security. Like, because when people say, well, you should do what you want to do, like, what happens if I want to murder someone? I feel like murdering someone. Well, I shouldn't be able to do that, should I? So I believe it's also, even though, like, that's why utilitarian, like, some of it is do what's best for you, but I also believe it's an equity thing. Like, there's higher goods than others. And some goods are not very good at all. And so I believe more in a security perspective and making sure everybody's safe. That's why I think I'm all for high surveillance, CCTV footage everywhere. Not in homes like in 1984, obviously, but like outside of home, and you can have someone to report to and all that stuff. Like at home, if you're being beaten by your husband or your wife or whoever, you should be able to report that, and you should be able to be safe. And also on the streets, like, it should be more security and order. Because the thing is, if we had it where you're surveyed all the time and you know this, you're going to do good things. Like, you know, you should stick on the sidewalks, not cross the street. Like, don't jaywalk, don't walk on the grass. But people do anyways because they know no one's going to care, no one's going to watch them. And even though litter has a fine, no one ever is there to say, oh, you littered, here's a fine. I believe that would help create a better society. And that's thing, like in Singapore, China, all these countries where they have more security, more surveillance, and collectivistic, internalized stuff, they're not willing to do these like little petty crimes because you care more about others. And you also care, like, you should care about the earth, like not even others in a sense, but you should put things before your own, like animals and stuff. Like, they should be, like, they have no one to defend them. The earth can't defend itself. We need to protect the earth. We need to care for it since we live on this earth. And that's more my viewpoint. Also, I'm a vegan. Like, I don't believe in harm, any type of harm. Like, I'm a vegan. I believe a world government, we should all be vegan, or at least meat substitute to like the new chemical synthesized stuff, because obviously it's expensive, but with no money, obviously it would be more available. And so that's what I believe, and I just wanted to share that today about utilitarianism and being more equal, but also having equity.